So we all know that we are currently living in a technology-driven era, and then slowly the AI is also coming in, and we are moving or we are adding that AI flavor to already heavily technology dependent organizations, right? So what I'll do is that first of all I'll request Mithun basically to as a part of his opening comments, tell us more about your industry, Mithun, and what is the kind of industry landscape currently, especially in India. You can also cover some bit of global comparison to that. What are the challenges, the opportunities, scope of the expansions, and maybe a little bit more about how is the technology playing the role.
Sure. So the Indian food industry, food and beverage industry, is one of the largest, and it contributes to about 4% of India's GDP. So it's pretty significant in terms of what it does to the economy, and obviously all of us consume some food or some beverage. So it's something that is the lifeline of the country or the world, largely. So within that, India has taken a significant position, and Indian food industry, food and beverage industry, is fourth in the world. So it's not like really small,
quite interesting.
And obviously there's a lot of internal consumption. So the beauty of our country is also because the consumption internally is so much, with about 1.4 billion people, that food is something that all of us love, right? And the kind of cuisines that we have, it's all around. So the industry size is pretty large. Now it is also fragmented, right? It's largely fragmented because you have branded, unbranded, as well as commodities, which is there. So there are a lot of challenges. When you ask me what the challenges are, humongous challenges which are there because of the sheer magnitude of the industry in itself, And if you look at the things that's happening, a lot of technology is getting into this industry. While a lot of industries which people here represent, technology would have already gotten to maybe, if I say 100% is a max, most of it would be 15-20% in terms of, I'm talking about AI and technology.
Yep.
But in this industry, it's still at a nascent stage because it is largely a traditional industry, so adoption takes a little longer time.
The next question is basically more about the spend part of it, right? Because when you have to expand your business, right? And I understand this, the Wow Momo is almost 18 years old organization, and you are there for the last 3 years, and you're driving that growth, right? And I'm sure your plate is full, in terms of the growth, the technology deployment, getting people, getting your different departments aligned properly, the culture. So there are a lot of things are happening within the organization. As a part of the technology automation piece, what is the percentage of spend normally you sort of estimate for technology implementation?
We deal with a whole lot of consumers. We have about 800 plus stores across the country, and they're all owned and managed by us. It's not a franchisee model and all of that. And the complexities are so much in each of them. We have something called Wow Momo, we have Wow China, we have Wow Chicken, and now we have launched something called Wow Kulfi. And then we have another vertical which is the FMCG, which is like the big animal. We just launched that about 3 years ago, and that is fast moving consumer goods. So you go to retail stores, you can find now, the Wow products, Wow noodles, Wow momos, and we have even beverage products. So what happens with all of this is that the complexity is so high, and hence technology can solve a lot of these complexities which are there. May it be in supply chain, may it be in consumer experience, customer experience, all of that, right? And hence we have taken that step to build that right now by getting somebody who leads it and who's creating a complete ecosystem around it. Other than that, we also have our own app, like your Swiggy and Zomatos of the world. We launched our own app, which is called Wow Eats. So you can order the entire range out of that. So we have been internalizing that, working on that. We have created that entire code to get those Wow Eat apps across, having the backend in terms of riders, alignment, and all of that. So we have done fast forward work with technology. And if you ask me spends, I would say that, right now we are still discovering what it needs to be. But the industry would spend about 4 to 7% approximately on technology as such. So that would be the case.
The next question is more in terms of, like as you said, that you also have your own app, and also maybe a lot of feeds are coming through Swiggy, Zomatos, and other things. Now, how do you sort of integrate with those platforms? Are there any challenges, or it is already a proven method of integrating with those platforms? How is the experience overall?
See, we don't integrate with those platforms because those platforms have their own system, right? So what happens is the delivery happens through them. For example, if it is
it's the logistics part.
Yeah, if it is Swiggy, then Swiggy picks up the product from our restaurant and then delivers it. For example, Instamart, we supply our products to the DCs of Instamart, or a Blinkit, or Zepto, or a Big Basket, and then they deliver it out. So there's no integration as such, but the data analysis is there. We do analysis on data, etc. On our own app, obviously, it is the back end is with somebody like Shadowfax kind of a setup, wherein they deliver it, right? And the front end is what is managed by us largely.
Moving on now, if you were to look at the actual technology deployment on ground, so you will have your functions which are more of a support functions, the back office functions like your supply chain, logistics, the HR, marketing, and then something which is directly facing the customers. So what are the key technology implementations, maybe last couple of years you have sort of done, and what is your experience on those deployments so far?
Yeah, so for example, because of the complexity that is there, supply chain becomes a very key challenge. So we have used a lot of technology and a lot of predictive analysis to get our supply chain right, because we buy a lot of material because of the complexities. For example, each of these verticals, for example, a Momo store would have about easily about 120 odd SKUs, and then a Wow Chicken. So imagine the amount of SKUs in 4 verticals. And each SKU will have so many more ingredients. So each SKU, like, let me take like a chicken product, that would have ingredients which are easily about, 30, 40 different ingredients. So imagine the complexity into the number of SKUs, number of products and all of that. In FMCG, we already have about 60 odd SKUs. And one of our noodle product, which is one of its kind called the Kausue, which you basically have to just add hot water into it. That has some 72 ingredients. Imagine the complexity of getting all that ingredient into one place and manufacturing.
And the final product.
Yeah, so technology for sure will help, and we are using that. In terms of customer management, in terms of the data that we get, we collect a lot of data. So every store collects a lot of data, customer data. So then heat mapping them, seeing where what kind of customer is there, and even when we have to open stores, it's all very scientific data. It's not that we feel that there is a good location, just go and open a store. A lot of scientific data is used for that.
How do you think this AI can actually be useful to your kind of industry? I mean, you can give a perspective. One is that what is happening globally, and coming to your own case, okay, are there any plans to sort of use AI to further enhance the technology capabilities, to further enhance the customer satisfaction, to further enhance the predictability aspects, to further enhance the dashboards, the MIS, the AI analytics part of it?
Food wastage is a huge issue, globally and in India. About 36% of the food that is produced gets wasted. And imagine what would happen if that food could be used somewhere. And why is it getting wasted? Because demand predictability is not there. Supply predictability is not there. So how it will get used is by getting AI to fit into that and to ensure predictability of demand is there. That's one. Number 2, quality is a huge issue, because the industry is so fragmented. Plus with brands also, quality becomes a huge concern. So with AI, quality management, can be really managed really well. I was reading up that there are now cameras with sensors, etc., which are installed in factories, wherein you can really figure out if there are any deviations from the norms that has been set. So things like that, so that can happen. Even in terms of pricing, assortment and pricing, how to plan pricing and assortment, a huge concern around it. Because today I wouldn't know which geography, what pricing really works. So AI can help with that.
So to drive all these things, the role of the CTO and CIO, you have a CTO in place, right? It becomes very, very important, and that is what especially the today's topic is. Especially the collaboration between a CIO, in your case it is CTO, and a CEO, for example, right? Just want to hear your thoughts. How is it going, and what are your sort of observations so far? You had the CTO you hired around maybe a couple of years back, right?
No, this is pretty recent. If you
I see.
open LinkedIn, that's like heavy
Okay.
news around. So
okay, so I don't know if
everybody is talking about it.
Yeah,
saying food.
whatever
company.
is your thoughts, maybe you can just share. What is that then you expect from a CIO?
The CIO will bring in a lot of additives into the P&L, according to me. Because today, if I have to look at it, I would say that the CIO should be accountable for bringing in positives into the P&L.
Absolutely.
And help generate revenue, help generate better cost, for example.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, Mithun, how would you put the KRA for a CIO? I would just make it as simple as possible. I would say top line growth. I would say bottom line efficiency. As simple as it. While there would be a lot of detailing into it, but that is the role which it needs to lead into. Plus, obviously, bringing in a lot of thought in terms of optimization, and all of that is going to add into top line and bottom line. So I believe it's as critical. It is as critical, and now with the way AI is getting enabled and technology is getting enabled, and like I told you, food industry really taking off on this space. I think no longer it will be a support function. It will be the function to work with hardcore. It's like how marketing is to business. IT and the CIO ends up becoming.
What are the challenges you have sort of experienced over the last, let's say, 3 years when you started doing some major technology implementation, maybe from customer side or even the support function side?
I think one of the things on resistance is that before that I would say that something like this needs entire top management alignment, and it has to be driven by top management. Very clearly, it can't be given to somebody as a task, and it can't be
bottom up.
It can't be driven. Even it can't be anywhere else. Also, it has to be the leader has to drive this. If it has to be implemented across. Now, in terms of resistances, obviously any change has resistance, right? They say change is only constant. Resistance is the one which breaks that constant. So resistant to change is there, and that is faced across from understanding itself. As basic as understanding of the concept and implementation of the concept itself, there's resistance of change. And if you look at it, a lot of people really think, does this really help? And they don't see the outcomes. Till you don't see the outcomes, there will be resistance.
Again, I have a connected question, on this, which is like whenever any decision is taken at organization level, for example. So one is that CIO or CTO will typically make that presentation to the board or to a CEO, and then there is go or no go, okay, on that kind of initiative. So that is one approach which we normally adopt in any organization. Second is that we sort of form a core committee, right, where we have participation from the CFO office, the CEO office, the COO's office, the HR and all that. So what is the way you normally sort of take such decisions on the major technology implementation initiatives?
Like, see, our decision stems from the fact that, what is the need? What is the need state of a certain technology that's required? For example, I mentioned to you the supply chain part. Fill rates, for example, we call it fill rates. For example, if a customer has given us 100, we are only able to give 80. To solve that 20%, what does it take? Right? So we bring in whatever large issues are there which will make impact on revenue, on cost, on efficiency. Basis that we decide on what needs to be done.
What is your final comment or sort of advice to the CIOs who are part of this kind of ecosystem, okay, in terms of CEO and CIO collaboration?
I think CIO's role has and will change dramatically. CIO will be a P&L responsible role of the entire company. Only when that happens will the effectiveness of that department and that role come into play. And P&L responsibility is both top line and bottom line.